सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः सुष्ठुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Mantra 1. अथाश्वलायनो भगवन्तम्
अथाश्वलायनो भगवन्तम्
परमेष्टिनम् उपसमेत्योवाच
परमेष्टिनम् उपसमेत्योवाच
अधीहि भगवो ब्रह्मविद्यां वरिष्ठाम्
अधीहि भगवन् ब्रह्मविद्यां वरिष्ठाम्
सदा सद्भिः सेव्यमानान् निगूढाम्
सदा सद्भिः सेव्यमानां निगूढाम्
यया चिरात् सर्वपापं व्यपोह्य
यया चिरात् सर्वपापं व्यपोह्य
परात् परं पुरुषं याति विद्वान्
परात् परं पुरुषं याति विद्वान्
तस्मै स होवाच पितामहश्च
तस्मै सहोवाच पितामहश्च
श्रद्धा भक्ति ध्यानयोगादवैः
श्रद्धा भक्ति ध्यानयोगादवैः
न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन
न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन
यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः
यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः
परेण नाकन्निहितं गुहायाम्
परेण नाकन्निहितं गुहायाम्
विभ्राजते यत् यतयो विशन्ति
विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति
वेदान्त विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्थाः
वेदान्त विज्ञान सुनिश्चितार्थाः
संन्यास योगात् यतयः शुद्ध सत्त्वाः
संन्यास योगाध्यतयः शुद्ध सत्त्वाः
ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले
ते ब्रह्मलोकेषु परान्तकाले
परामृता परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे
परामृता परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे
विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः
विविक्तदेशे च सुखासनस्थः
शुचिः समग्रीव शिरः शरीरः
शुचिः समग्रीव शिरः शरीरः
अत्याश्रमस्थः सकलेन्द्रियाणि
अत्याश्रमस्थः सकलेन्द्रियाणि
निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य
निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य।
Thank you. So we have been seeing the mantras of Kaivalya Upanishad. And these Upanishads, as we have seen before, another name is Vedanta. And they appear in the end portion of the Vedas called the Jnana Kanda. Yeah? Why in the end? Because the Moksha Purushartha is the highest Purushartha. Now, nobody is born with a desire for moksha, right? So, everybody would pursue the dharma, artha, kama pursuits first, and only in the end come to the moksha. Yeah? Why? Because initially we live a very desire-based life, yeah? Which is fine. There is a need, and hence there is a kamaha and there is a karma for a desired end. So we have dharma, artha, kama pursuits in the Purva Bhaga of the Vedas. But the mumukshu is the one who has done pariksha. Pariksha lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirvedam ayat. That mantra says the one who has begun to see the limitation of the dharma, artha, kama pursuits. What are the limitations? The limitations are that each of these three pursuits are giving me a finite result. Yeah? Finite result, and hence this mumukshu is now inquiring into the nature of the desire itself. Yeah? Earlier on, he was pursuing desire-based actions, but now with maturity, he begins to inquire. What is the nature of desire? Who is the desirer? And hence the Upanishad study is meant for the mumukshu. Meant means it will be most beneficial and most meaningful for the seeker of knowledge or the seeker of moksha. And that is the mumukshu. Yeah? So we see that in this Upanishad, which is a short Upanishad of 25 mantras, this is a samvada, a dialogue between Brahmadeva, the Lord of creation, and the student who is called Ashvalayana. Then Ashvalayana is a grahastha and himself a guru and a teacher of Rig Veda and performed a lot of Vedic rituals apparently. Yeah? And then has come to this pursuit of moksha. Yeah? Now, the word Kaivalya we have seen is Kevalasya Bhavaha. And Upanishad, the meaning is that which is clear knowledge of the self. Yeah? The Atma Jnanam or the knowledge of the self which is closest to me. It is who I really am. And that Atma Jnanam destroys the bondage of samsara. How does it destroy? By the method of inquiry. Yeah? So we see that all the Upanishads follow the same method. There will be a request, there will be a question, and a guru is going to give the answers and the clarification. Yeah? And so the understanding of this Kevala Atma. So the word Kevala means one. Yeah? One without a second. And that is what we say Advaitam, Advitiya Brahma. And that is the essential knowledge of the one, which this student Ashvalayana is asking Brahma. Yeah? Remember, we talked about how initially, when we are born into the world, and the world is filled with infinite forms. Yeah? There are Namarupas, all kinds of suns, stars, galaxies, people, and nature, all infinite. And then we begin to understand that there is a triangular format. There is a jiva, that's us. There is a jagat, the world. And there is a more powerful principle, Ishvara. So jiva, jagat, Ishvara is the triangle. Later on we discover this. Yeah. Then when we come to the Shastras and study Gita, Upanishads, we find that even the triangular format collapses into binary format. There are only two. What are those two? Atma Anatma, Satyam Mithya, Drik Drishya. That is, there is one experiencer and the whole world is experienced. Yeah. So that is the binary format. But here, the Upanishads show that even the two, Atma, Anatma, is going to reduce to one, and that is Kevala Atma. How does Atma, Anatma collapse into Atma? Because we have seen this in Tattva Bodha, that Anatma derives its existence from what? Atma. Yeah? So Anatma Mithya does not have an independent existence. So it is Atma which is the significant Kevala one. Yeah? And hence, in the understanding, the Jnani's understanding is there are not infinite, there are not three, there are not two, but there is only one. Yeah? Kevala Atma. And hence, that is the topic and the subject matter of all the Upanishads. Now, how will this benefit me? The knowledge of that one Kevala Atma, if we ask, yeah, we have already seen self-knowledge destroys the bondage. Yeah, it will benefit me because right now I am taking myself to be this body. Yeah, and I tell that, oh, I was born on such and such date. Yeah, I'm aging, there are pains and aches. And then I'm Sukhi, I'm Dukhi. And this Shastra says is the identification with Anatma. And the Shastra negates all my conclusions by saying, no, you are not born. You were never born. You are Ajaha. And you are not subject to aging. You are Ajara. There is no Jara for you. And if there is no birth, if there is no Jara, how can there be death? So you are Amrityu. Yeah, you are Abhyayam. You cannot change also. So you are that Kevala Atma. So this is often seen as a bombshell, Shastras. So initially, it is very difficult for one to, accept that how can I be that Nirguna Parabrahma, the cause of the entire world. Yeah? And hence, to understand that, we have to approach a guru, and do systematic study of the Shastras. Yeah? Then the second reason how we benefit from this knowledge is that Shastra says Dvaita Bhayam Bhavat. So when there's a notion of two, then there will be competition. Yeah? If I see you as different from me, then maybe I want to become like you. I want to have what you have. There is competition, stress, there may be arguments and conflicts and exploitation. Yeah. So when there are two or many, then that Vyavahara brings in all these symptoms of samsara. But when there is only the understanding that you, me, he, her, it, the mosquito, Brahma, essentially we are all one. Yeah? Then how can there be any differences? So this is the subtle vision of Vedanta and the understanding of the Jnani who abides in this clarity that despite the infinite Namarupas, there is only essentially the one Kevala Atma. And that is who I am. And I'm going to abide in that reality and enjoy the lasting peace. Yeah? So this is why we come to the study of an Upanishad or even Bhagavad Gita, which in addition, the difference is in the Bhagavad Gita, there is not only the vision of Vedanta or Upanishad, but there is the way of life. Yeah? How can I change my orientation, my priorities, my lifestyle to gain this vision? But Upanishad already assumes that we have already done our Karma Yoga, our Upasanas, and we are all sadhana chatushtaya sampanna adhikaris. We are already endowed with the fourfold qualifications to benefit from this highest, most subtle vision of Atma. Yeah? So there is a physical dimension which we understand very well. There's a body which I can see. Then there's a psychological dimension I can feel and infer, the mind. But then Shastra says there is something beyond the two, and that is the subtlemost dimension of this Atma. Yeah. So that is the topic of the Upanishads. So in the first mantra, what did we see? Ashwarayana addresses Brahma as Bhagavan, because the Guru is none other than Bhagavan. Because the Guru is going to give us the knowledge of Bhagavan and is the embodiment of that Bhagavat knowledge. And then he requests. What does he request? He says, O Bhagavan, Brahma, please teach me that most exalted and most secret knowledge of Brahma, which is pursued by mumukshus, and by which all the papas are destroyed and by which one gains the highest knowledge. Now, what is Ashwalayana asking Brahma for? Paravidya. So we saw that Paravidya is not the knowledge of a worldly an object, because Brahma Vidya, Atma is not an object, and Atma is not available for sense perception, and Atma is hidden in my intellect, which means that I have not recognized the indwelling reality that I could be Atma. And also, only the one who has turned away from dharma, artha, kama pursuits, will benefit from the Atma Jnana. So for all these reasons, this Rishi approaches the Brahma and asks him to teach the highest knowledge. Then what is Brahma's response? The whole Kaivalya Upanishad is Lord Brahma's response to the student Ashwalayana. Tasmai saha uvacha pitamaha. So Brahma is called Pitamaha, means grandfather, because Brahma has to create the Prajapatis, and we are all descendants of the Prajapatis. So Brahma is in the lineage like a grandparent. So Brahma Deva's response is, you know that Atma Brahma by what? Mentions 3 sadhanas: Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana. These are the yogas. So Shraddha is an open, trusting mind. I trust the words of the Shruti and the words of my Guru. So I have an open mind, even if I don't understand anything or most of the things, but I give the benefit of doubt. I still pursue the knowledge with bhakti. So the bhakti is devotion. Devotion to the Guru, devotion to the knowledge, devotion to the parampara. So it keeps my heart also open. Then Dhyana Yoga. Dhyana Yoga is contemplating on the teachings. So the Guru's words, I dwell upon it, I reflect upon it, and gain the knowledge of Atma. So Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Yoga, Aviki. May you know that Atma Jnanam by these 3 disciplines. Then Brahmadeva continues with these 2 mantras. I told you the mantra 3 and 4 are the very famous Purna Kumbha mantras, by which one welcomes a jnani or a sannyasi when they visit. Visit outside of their kutyas and ashrams. So you would have seen a typical kumbha, a vessel, and then adorned with mango leaves and water. And actually, why is the water kept inside? In the olden days, they would wash the feet of the jnanis because they would have walked for such a long distance. And these 2 mantras, number 3 and 4, are chanted when one welcomes a sannyasi or a jnani at home. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagena eke amritatvam anushudu. So here Brahma says that knowledge, my dear Ashwarayana, is not gained by karmas. By karmas means Vedic rituals here. Why? Because we know the karmas will give karma phalam, a finite end. But Atma Jnanam is not a finite end. It is the self. So na karmana. Then na prajaya. By the family life and lineage grahastha-ashrama, also it is not possible to gain the liberation. Then not by wealth also. Yeah, some internet issue. Yeah. So then Brahmadev says, then how do we gain the Amritatvam? Eke Amritatvam Anashahu. So a few mumukshus would gain that Amritatvam by Tyaga. By Tyaga is renunciation. The path of renunciation, which we are seeing in the Gita also. Sannyasa renunciation is, I give up the desire for result and I am not even interested in dharma, artha, kama. I have turned away and now I am pursuing moksha. So I rearrange all the priorities in my life so that they will serve me for gaining self-knowledge. Now, this is not to be understood as giving up one's duties and responsibilities. That is always to be performed. Nitya Naimitika karmas are not, is not what is meant here. Tyaga is giving up of the kamya karmas and the desire-based activities. Yeah? So then, these yatis, yatayaha vishanti, these renunciates or these mumukshus, they enter the guha, the cave. Now, what is the cave here? The cave is the cave of my mind or intellect. Yeah? So earlier, when my mind was extroverted, this cave was dark. But now, with Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyanam, and by Guru's grace and devotion, I am turning inwards and lighting the lamp of knowledge. So that guha is getting lighted up. That means what? My buddhi is getting informed. And there it is nihitam. This knowledge is hidden. Hidden where? In the cave of my mind. And this Atma Jnanam or this Amritatvam is Parena Nakam. Parena Nakam means beyond heaven. Nakam, I told you, is heaven. Parena is beyond and which is shining. Vibrajate. Now, how is this Atma shining? Because it is illuminating everything. Yeah. So right now, the voice box, my mind and my body and my perception, my thinking process, all this is being illuminated by Atma. Yeah? And that is why that Atma is called the light of lights. Jyotisham Abhi Jyoti. Yeah? So, the Yatayaha Vishanti, these renunciates by taking to the path of renunciation. They enter into the cave of the minds where this knowledge is hidden and they gain the Amritatvam by Tyaga and not by karmas or by praja, offsprings or by wealth. I am doing a quick recap here. We have seen all this before. Then in the fourth mantra, we have seen that these Shuddha Sattvaha, Shuddha Sattvaha means the mumukshus who have already purified their mind through karma yoga and upasanas and who are now on the path of renunciation. They are Vedanta Vijnana Sunishchitarthaha. They have gained the knowledge of the Vedantic knowledge of the Vedanta Shastras by Sannyasa Yoga. They are Shuddha Sattvahas and they are Parimuchanti Sarve. They get liberated, Parimuchanti Sarve. When Parantakale. So Parantakale means at the final time of departure from this world. When the prarabdha is over, prarabdha, the body is over, that is called Parantakala for these people who have gained the knowledge. No? For a non-jnani, we will use the word Antakala. What is the difference? Because when a person passes away from this world, then it will be followed by another birth. But when a jnani passes away, that is called Parantakala, there is no more birth because there is no more ignorance. So we saw the discussion of two kinds of liberation. The jnani enjoys moksha even while living, before the final moment. Jivaneva muktihi. Through the clear knowledge of Atma, such a jnani is a jivan muktaha, freed from samsara. Then at the end of the prarabdha also is freed from the body, videha mukti. Now, there is another mukti. There is a krama mukti. Krama mukti is liberation in stages, which chapter 8 Gita talks about. So, a person who has done Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasana, but not gained Atma Jnanam, and the prarabdha is over. Yeah. Then the body falls, and then by the Shukla Marga, the Mumukshu, the Jiva, goes to the Brahmaloka, and there, by the teachings of Brahmadeva, attains liberation. So that is the Krama Mukti. But in Vedanta, mostly what will be talked about? Jivan Mukti. Yeah? Despite being embodied, what is the nature of freedom? What is Atma Jnanam? That is the topic of Vedanta generally. Then we saw that in mantra number 5, Brahmadeva gives the steps of meditation. Vivikta deshe cha sukhasanastaha shuchihi samagriva shirashariraha. So may one be in a Vivikta desha. Vivikta desha is a secluded place. May one resort to a place of solitude which is non-disturbing and which is pure and clean. And sukhasanastaha, may one have a comfortable posture and samagriva shirashariraha, and may there be a aligned posture. Yeah? The griva, neck and head and body be kept in a straight aligned position. And then this atyashamastaha. Atyashamastaha means the sannyasi. Yeah. And who is the sannyasi? So Swamiji will say sannyasi is the one who has no roles to play. Now all of us, when we meditate, we can all temporarily drop our roles, right? So for 15-20 minutes, we can all become sannyasis during meditation. I'm not husband, wife, grandparent, son, daughter, an employee, boss. I'm a atyashamastaha sannyasi. Yeah. So then what does this meditator have to do? Sakalendriyani niruddhya. Withdrawing all the sense organs, preparing for meditation, then bhaktya swagurum pranamya, and saluting one's guru with devotion. Now, in the Upanishads, we will find that the devotion is always expressed to the guru, because one's guru is only one's Rama, Devi, Krishna, Shiva, everything. Yeah, so we don't bring in all the devatas and devis here, because the Guru is embodiment of everything. Yeah? Paravidya, and is also for me, my Hanuman, my Rama, my Sita, everything. So with devotion, Swa Gurum Pranamya. So you see how this Kaivalya Upanishad straight away starts off with meditation. No, Brahma says by Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, may one gain this knowledge. Yeah? And as a renunciate, may one have a comfortable posture, align the body, neck and head, and saluting one's Guru with devotion. Get ready for meditation. So far we have seen. Now, mantra number 6, which we are going to start today, talks about what should I meditate on? What is the object of meditation? And that is the shloka mantra of today. We will chant it first. Hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham. Hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham. Vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. Vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. Hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham. Vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam. Shivam prashantam amritam brahma yonim. Shivam prashantam amritam brahma yonim. Tathadimadhyanta vihinamekam. Tathadimadhyanta vihinamekam. Vibhum chidanandam adbhutam. Vibhum chidanandam adbhutam. Slightly longer mantra with 3 lines. Once again. Hrit pundarikam virajam vishuddham. Vichintya madhye vishadam vishokam. Achintyam avyaktam anantarupam. Shivam prashantam amritam brahma yonim. Tathadimadhyanta vihinamekam. Vibhum chidanandam adbhutam. Lot of Sanskrit words and your vocabulary is going to really expand now. Now, the problem is that the Atma, which is not an object, which I cannot see, taste, touch, feel, or even, think about. How am I going to meditate on such an Atma? That is the difficulty, that one would face. So in this shloka, we see that Brahma is advising Ashwayana to meditate on the Atma and expresses that in many, many words. We're going to see each of those words. Now, why so many words? Because we all think Atma is this, Atma is that. Yeah? And I think I'm a Sukhi, Dukhi, I'm subject to aging, I'm young, old. Swami Vivekananda would say, we are all already hypnotized. So we have so many labels and definitions which we have got from society, from the world, from institutions, and then all these are, the adhyasas, the superimpositions. So now the Shastra wants to choose the words which denote Atma. So how is the Shastra going to do that? By negating. You think you are born? No, you are Ajaha. You think you will die? No, you are Amrityu. You think you are changing all the time? No, you are Abhyayam. You think you are aging? No, Ajara. So we're going to see all these words. Most of them will be in the form of negation. Yeah, not this, not this. Neti, neti. Yeah? So Hrit Pundarikam. Hrit Pundarikam means the lotus-shaped heart. Yeah. Hrit means heart. Pundarika is lotus. Now, even the physical heart is like a lotus bud. Yeah? So here it means that I have to turn my mind inwards, and in the heart temple, in this lotus temple, I have to meditate. Yeah? Then you see the fourth word in the first line, vichintya. Yeah? Vichintya means turning one's mind inwards to the heart lotus temple. Hrit pundarikam vichintya. Madhye. Madhye means in the middle. That means in the space of the heart, in my awareness. Then that heart is virajam, vishuddham, vishadam, vishokam. You see the prefix vi. The vi means without in English. Yeah? Vi. So whenever you have a vi, you understand is virajam means without rajas. Yeah? And vishuddham is a different meaning. Vishuddha means without impurities. Yeah? Vishadam is calm and clear. And vishokam is without shoka, without grief. So one will be able to meditate only when one is free from the rajas, free from the emotional disturbances, free from the impurities of desire. And how are we going to be free from all this? Only when we have done karma yoga. So when the spirit of karma yoga is there, when we have done upasanas, then we are ready for the meditation on the self. Yeah? So what this means is virajam, vishuddham, vishadam, vishokam means to free the mind from raga dveshas, attraction and aversion, which we have just seen a lot of it in the Gita. Then I do chintanam, vichintya madhye hrit pundarikam. I turn my mind towards the heart space, which is cleansed of the raga dveshas, of the kama krodhas and impurities. And there I meditate on Parabrahma. Now we are going to see all the words which are going to negatively describe Atma. Negatively means what? Negation. Yeah. So what is Atma now? Achintyam. Achintya means Atma cannot be conceptualized. Can you say Atma is like this or like that? No, we have seen that Atma is not available for the 5 pramanas. In fact, thought is Atma, thinker is Atma. Yeah. So, Achintyam means Atma is not an object of thought. Yeah. It is not an object, rather it is the subject. Yeah. Then, Avyaktam. Avyaktam means na vyaktam. Atma is not visible, is not manifest. Yeah. It is hidden. Yeah. It is the I which I have to understand. But it is not available for my sense organs, Avyaktam. And then it is Anantarupam. Anantarupam means it is manifested as a countless forms in the world. Yeah? That means every being, all the Bhutani, the essential Atma is indwelling equally in all. The Atma of a mosquito, Atma of the grass, Atma of a cow, Atma of a human being, and Apsara is the same Atma. But what is the difference? The Upadhis. No? You've seen the word Upadhi. Upadhi is the bodies, the minds are all different. The packaging is different, but the content is the one and one Atma. Then Atma is described as Shivam. Yeah? Now, Shiva, I think we understand Shiva. Now, Shiva is here in the Vedantic context, Shiva is to be understood as auspicious. The next mantra, number 7, we will come to the Shiva that is more familiar to us. You know, with the Trishul and the snake and with Ganga emerging from the hair, that Shiva. But here we have to take this Shivam is also comes in the Mandukya Upanishad. Satyam Shivam Sundaram Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante, that Shivam, which is the most auspicious. Yeah. So Shiva stands for consciousness, Atma. Then Prashantam. Prashantam is peace. Yeah? Now, we have seen that for peace, we don't have to do anything. We just have to abide in the peace because it is my nature. The nature of consciousness is peace. Yeah? But once I get out of that knowledge of the space, then there is Ashanti. Yeah? So the nature of Atma is Prashantam. And then Amritam. Next word. Amritam is easy to understand. Na Mritam. That which is not subject to time, which is not subject to the wheel of birth and death. There is no birth for Atma and there is no aging, no death for Atma. So it is Trikaleshu Tishtati Yat Satyam Tad Atma. And that is Amritam. Then Brahma Yonim. This word can be understood in two ways. Yeah? Yoni, we understand Yoni means source or the womb. Yeah. So Brahma is the source of the entire creation. Yeah. Or we can say that the source, the Yoni of Brahma Deva, the creator. Ultimately, it comes to the same meaning. That is, Atma is the source of the entire creation. Yeah. The manifest and unmanifest worlds, they've all come by the power of Maya of that Atma Brahma. And that is Brahma Yonim. Yeah. Then Tatha continues the description of Atma. Adi, Madhya, Anta, Vihinam. So that Atma has neither beginning, nor middle, nor end. Adi is not there because there is no birth for Atma. Madhya is not there, no middle. And Anta is not there, no end. Yeah. So, you see how challenging this is, Upanishad study for us. Because our mind wants to grasp any topic black and white. You know, if it is not tall, it is short. If it is not near, it is far. No? So we all want to think in terms of attributes, qualities, yeah, gender, age, name, nama, rupa. That is the difficulty here. So Atma Jnanam is understood only in a pure and calm, settled mind. Yeah? The mind which is made sentient by the Atma. See, we have seen in Tattva Bodha also that the mind is also matter. Yeah? Then how does the mind actively think and decide and feel and perceive the world? Because the mind is reflecting the Atma. Yeah? The Atma is reflecting through the Sukshma Shariras in all the bodies. Yeah? And that Atma is being talked about here. Then Atma is Ekam. Yeah? Ekam, we have already seen the meaning, is Kevalaha, is non-dual Atma. Yeah? How the one Atma has manifested as many. This also we have seen in the Srishti Prakarana of Tattva Bodha. How the Ekam Advitiyam Brahma, by the power of Maya Shakti, manifests as the subtle universe and then goes on to form the gross universe. And then we have the infinite Namarupas. But Atma is Ekam. Then Vibhum. Yeah? Vibhum means all pervasive. Everywhere. Atma is everywhere. There is no place where Atma is not. So the closest way to understand Atma is what? Space. Akasha. You see Akasha right now. Akasha is there in this room. Akasha is outside our homes. Akasha is inside our bodies and outside. It is inside Earth and outside Earth. Akasha is inside the galaxy, our galaxy, and outside also. So Akasha is everywhere. Yeah? But Atma is Vibhum. Yeah? And that is all pervasive. Then Chidanandam. Chidanandam, Chit plus Anandam. Two words are there. Chit is what? Consciousness. Yeah? And Chit is that sentience which makes the mind glow. You know? We have seen that how can the body is matter, mind is subtle matter, how can they become so active? Because of Chit. Yeah? Because of the Chit aspect of Atma, the mind is able to reflect the consciousness. And then Anandam. Yeah? So Atma is the nature of fullness or Anandam. Yeah? Now, we see that any Anandam that we experience in life, it can be a Gulab Jamun Anandam or an Anandam, supposing I get a promotion, or I become a grandparent. There is definitely Anandam, right? Now, what do we think? Is the Anandam coming from that situation, from that object? Shastra says no. The Anandam that we are experiencing in the world is really the Anandam that is Atma. How can we understand this? Because when I enjoy the Rasagulla or Gulab Jamun, after enjoying it, what happens? The mind calms down. Yeah? And when the mind calms down, it resolves into Atma. And the Atma Ananda gets reflected. So the one who has discrimination viveka is able to see that Anandam did not come from that sense object. Rather, it is manifested from the Atma Ananda, but we attribute it to the objects that we fulfilled. To a certain situation, to a person, to a sense object. When we enjoy it, we think the Anandam is coming from them. Yeah? But Shastra says that is a manifestation of that Atma Anandam. Yeah? So Atma can be called Anandam. See, if it is true that any object will give me Anandam, like Rasagulla, then let me have 2, 3, 4, 10 Rasagullas. Will I have more and more Anandam? Very unlikely. Yeah. So the more of that object which gave me that Anandam initially, if I have more of it, definitely Ananda is not going to increase. At some point I'll say no. Yeah. So the Shastra says that only Atma is the source of true happiness. But we think the Anandam is coming from external objects. Yeah. This is a little bit a subtle point here. But we can understand it as we all want to be happy always, right? So when our children were very small, then how much happiness it gave us, right? Now when the same children grow up and they become, very moody teenagers, the same children, do they give me the happiness? No. So did the happiness come from the children or it came from me? Yeah. So for me, that situation when they were very small, they could be controlled and they're very cute. The Anandam, my own Anandam got manifested. And they were only an agent, a trigger. Yeah? But then the same object later on, makes me angry. Rather, opposite effect. So where is the Anandam? There is only Atma is the source of all Anandam. That is what this is saying. Then Arupam. Arupam means easy to understand without formless. Yeah? So Atma does not have a form. Yeah? And that is why this Nirguna meditation, which is what Mantra 6 is all about, is a bit challenging. Yeah? Then the last word here is, it is Adbhutam. Adbhutam means wonder. Yeah. Now, what is the wonder? Atma is the wonder. We have seen one shloka in Gita chapter 2, remember? Yeah, that is the one who speaks about Atma as a wonder, one who listens to Atma as a wonder, and one who is seeking the Atma as a wonder, and one who does not understand Atma, that student is also a wonder. Yeah. So, why is Atma an object of wonder? Because the vision of Vedanta reverses my perception, and For the first time, I'm looking inside and understanding so many secrets of Atma. It is Ajaha, Amrityuhu, Anantarupaha, it is Shivam, Prashantam, Amritam, Vishadam, Vishokam, Achintyam, Avyaktam. It has no beginning, middle, end. It is Vibhum, it is Chit, Anandam. It is everything, all pervasive. And that is the wonder talked about in the last word, Adbhutam. Yeah? So this meditation is called Vedantic meditation, and mantra number 6. And this is contemplation, or we say Nididhyasana. Yeah? So if Atma is not an object, then when I'm sitting in meditation, how will I meditate? This is a question often asked. Yeah? And hence Shastra has given us all these words, yeah? Achintyam, Avyaktam. So when I sit, then I can dwell upon a Gita shloka or a Upanishad mantra and see the truth of that statement. So in my meditation, can I understand that I as Atma was never born? I as Atma, I have no aging issues. I as Atma am deathless. I as Atma, I am the source of Anandam. So this is why in these meditations, it's more about meditating on the meditator. What is my real Swarupaha? And that is the Sat Chit Ananda Swarupaha Aham, the understanding. So not an easy mantra, but a very important mantra to understand, where we have seen so many words in connection with Atma. Yeah, so having turned one's attention to the lotus-like heart, yeah, which is made steady and pure and clear through Karma Yoga upasanas, and there one should meditate on Brahman, and that is the source of all. And we cannot make it an object of thought. It is unmanifest. It has appeared as many. Now we have seen those examples, how one gold has appeared as so many ornaments, how water appears as so many waves. So too, the Ekam Advitiyam Atma Brahman is expressing in countless bodies and minds. It is Shivam, auspicious, it is Prashantam, tranquil, Amritam, and it does not have a beginning, middle, end. It is Ekam, it is Vibhum, and it is Chit, Anandam, Arupam, and wonderful. So these are the many words. You see how the Shastra is using neti, negating and describing Atma. Yeah. Now, what will an ordinary person think? An ordinary person will think, oh, if Atma is not available for my eyes and for my mind, then it does not exist. And that is why Shraddha is so important. Yeah. So, just because I cannot make Atma appear before me, no, I cannot deny its existence also. Yeah. So, that is why Shraddha plays a very important role for a mukshu, for a student of Vedanta study. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Yeah. When I have Shraddha in the words of the Guru and the Shastras, which talks about Atma being there, but then it's not available as an object. Yeah. Then with Shraddha, I continue my commitment to the knowledge, and eventually I get the knowledge of Atma by the grace of the Guru. Now, mantra number 7 is Saguna Brahma. Saguna Brahma Dhyanam. Saguna Brahma Dhyanam is what we generally would do at home, right? We would, every stotram has a dhyana shloka, like Sindhuraruna Vigraham, Trinagana, Madhikya Maulispurat, Haranayaka Shekaram, Smita Mukhi, Vakshoruham. So we have a dhyana shloka on the Devi, and then we do the stotra. Yeah? So this is called meditation on a form with attributes, with the sound of a mantra. How easy this is compared to the previous meditation, right? So we have the concept of Ishtadevata. I can choose Krishna, Parameshwara, Shiva, Devi, Anjaneya, any Devata, and then the mind immediately becomes focused and the heart becomes tranquil. So mantra 7 is about the meditation on Shiva. Yeah, the Shiva. Let us chant the mantra first. Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum. Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum. Trilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam. Trilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam. Dhyatva Munir Gacchati Bhutayonim. Dhyatva Munir Gacchati Bhutayonim. Samasta Sakshim Tamasav Parastat. Samasta Sakshim Tamasav Parastat. Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum. Trilochanam Neelakantham Prashantam. Dhyatva Munir Gacchati Bhutayonim. Samasta Sakshim Tamasav Parastat. So here we have a meditation which is going to be easier than 6. Why? Because mantra 6 is Nirguna meditation, Vedantic Nididhyasana. But mantra 7 is going to show us the meditation on Parameshwara as Shiva. Who is Parameshwara? Uma Sahayam. Uma Devi is Parvati. So who is the consort of Uma? Is Uma Sahayam, is none other than Parameshwara. Parameshwara means what? Parameshwara, who is Devon ka Dev, that is Mahadev. Yeah, Parameshwara. So we have seen how many devatas are there? Countless. Vayu, Varuna, Surya, Chandra, all these cosmic forces are devatas. But Parameshwara is the Lord, the highest Lord. Yeah. And Prabhum. Prabhu means powerful. Then Trilochanam. And that Parameshwara, who is the consort of Parvati, Uma, is Trilochanam. Called Trilochanam also we understand the three-eyed. There are lots of stories which we would all know. No? How, Shiva burnt Kamadeva by the fire, emerging from the third eye. But the three eyes can refer to sun, moon and fire, or past, present, future, or Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, all these various meanings Shastra gives. So Trilochanam. Yeah. Then Neelakantham, the blue-throated Shiva. Yeah. Now we know the story. This is Amrita Mathanam story. Very beautiful allegorical story it is. No? How the Devas, Asuras are churning the Milky Ocean and 14 jewels emerge. Yeah? Including Kamadhenu and Kalpavriksha, Mahalakshmi, Dhanvantari, and also poison. Yeah, the poison. And we know how Shiva, volunteers, I will drink the poison. And then Parvati Devi holds the throat and prevents the poison from going down or up. And hence only the throat is blue. Yeah. So all these have a lot of deeper meanings, like how the mind is the Milky Ocean. And the Devatas and Asuras are, we are churning the mind in meditation. And then what? Many jewels come out, good qualities. But poison also is there in our mind. Kashayam. Yeah? All the undesirable Kashayam also surfaces. Yeah? Then by the grace of Guru, grace of Bhagavan, the poison is taken away from my mind. And then Prashantam. Shiva is often, we see that statue of Shiva, half closed eyes and very peaceful. Yeah, so that is the Prashanta image of Shiva. The dynamic image of Shiva is Nataraja. So we can contemplate on Shiva as, Parameshwara or even Dakshinamurti. Dakshinamurti is the youthful Also very peaceful, Prashanta figure with the Sanakadi Munis at the feet. Then what? Dhyatva Munihi Gachati. So now comes the verbs here. This Muni, no, Brahmadeva is telling, this renunciate or this Muni, the contemplator who is meditating, having meditated on Shiva, what happens? Gachati. Gachati means he gains. He gains what? Bhuta yonim. Bhuta yonim means he gains that param abode. The yoni, the source of all the bhutas. That means the ultimate source, which is consciousness. Nirguna Parabrahma. And that is Samasta Sakshi. Samasta Sakshi is the witness of all. Yeah? So in these meditations, one just sits in a quiet place, and then there is more of a witnessing attitude. I witness the body, I witness the mind, the memories, the plans, and all the play, like a movie. Yeah? So, just as how detached we are watching a movie, we should be able to watch, be a sakshi to the movies of our lives, of our minds, of our body in meditation. And that is meant here, Samasta Sakshi. And that Shiva is the Parastat Tamasaha. Yeah? Tamasaha is, we can say, Maya or darkness. Tamasa means ignorance. So that Atma Tattvam is beyond all the darkness. See, where is darkness? Tamas is there in deep sleep. Tamas is there when in pralaya. Tamas is there in lack of understanding. Yeah? But the Lord's nature is beyond all tamas. So, Uma Sahayam Parameshwaram Prabhum. Yeah? Uma stands for the Shakti of Parameshwara or Prakriti, Maya Shakti, which has manifested the worlds. And this mantra 7 is about meditation on the form. See now how easy it is for our minds. We have brought in Shiva, and the power of Shiva is Shakti, and then we have connected the mind to all the stories, how he is Trilochana, Nilakantha, and then meditating on all this, such a Muni attains the end, the Atma Jnana. So the two types of meditation we have seen so far. Mantra number 6 talks about meditation on the incomprehensible Atma. Yeah, that was also called Shiva, if you remember. Shiva in the mantra 6 refers to Nirguna Atma, Brahma. And here mantra 7 talks about Shiva as the Shiva that is more familiar to us. So either meditation we can choose, and definitely Saguna Brahma Dhyanam is easier than Nirguna contemplation. But as our acharyas always say, Saguna Dhyanam is not complete without coming to Nirguna contemplation. And Nirguna contemplation is not possible without Saguna. So that means we are doing the right thing. So when we do a puja, when we offer Naivedyam and chant the Dhyana shlokas and do the Ashtotaras and the pujas, what are we doing? We are doing a kind of a Saguna worship, a dualistic worship. That is, I am worshipping my Devi in my puja room. Yeah? So there is a relation, there is a connection. And this is called the Saguna Dhyana. And then this has the power to light the lamp of knowledge in my mind. And I will come one day when I will be able to meditate on myself. So then the understanding that the Shiva that was external to me is really the indwelling reality. And that is my tattva. That is who I really am. And that Shiva was explained in so many words of that mantra number 6. Yeah, earlier. Yeah, so I know it's a bit heavy, the topic of Upanishads, but we have to appreciate one thing, that Upanishad teachings are a live teaching tradition nowhere in the world except in Bharat. Yeah. So then, at least if we are not able to meditate now, as suggested, we should know about this, that what are the Upanishads all about, and it is the highest expression of thought. Yeah. And many Western philosophers have admired the Upanishads, and they say it is the solace of my life. And and that is why we have this term that we are all not mortals born to our parents alone. We are Amrita Putras and Amrita Putris. That means we are the descendants of that Amritam, which the Upanishads talk about. Yeah. So I think we will chant these mantras now from mantra 1, so that these mantras also become a little bit more familiar to all of you. So Sunita can repeat after me. Are you able to unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
So let's chant again from these 7 mantras. We've completed 7 mantras today. Athashvalayano Bhagavantam
Athashvalayano Bhagavantam
Parameshtinam Upasametyo Vacha
Parameshtinam Upasametyo Vacha
Adhihi Bhagavan Brahma Vidyam Varishtham
Adhihi Bhagavan Brahma Vidyam Varishtham
Tada Sadbhi Sevyamanan Nigudham
Sada Sadbhisevyyamanam Nigudam
Yaya Chirat Sarva Papam Vyapohya
Yaya Chirat Sarva Papam Yapohya
Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidvan
Parat Param Purusham Yati Vidvan
Tasmai Sahovacha Pitamahascha
Tasmai Sahovacha Pitamahascha
Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogadavaihi
Shraddha Bhakti Dhyana Yogadavaihi
Na Karmana Na Prajaya Dhanena
Na Karmana Na Prajaya Dhanena
Yagenaike Amritatvamana
Yagenaike Amrutatvamānashuhu
Parinana Kannihitam Guhayam
Parena Nakam Nihitam Guhayam
Vivrajate Yat Yatayo Vishanti
Vibhrajate Yadyatayo Vishanti
Vedanta Vijnana Sunischitarthaha
Vedanta Vijnana Sunischitarthaha
Sannyasa Yoga Yataya Shuddha Sattvaha
Sannyasa Yoga Dyataya Shuddha Sattvaha
Te Brahma Lokeshu Parantakale
Te Brahma Lokeshu Parantakale
Paramrita Parimuchyanti Sarve
Paramruta Parimuchyanti Sarve
Vivikta Deshe Cha Sukhasanasthaha
Vivikta Deshe Cha Sukasanastaha
Shuchi Samagriva Shirashariraha
Chuchis Samagriva Shirashariraha
Atyashamasta Sakalendriyani
Atyashramastas Sakalendriyani
Nirudhya Bhaktya Sagurum Pranamya
निरुध्य भक्त्या स्वगुरुं प्रणम्य
हृत्पुण्डरीकं विरजं विशुद्धम्
हृत्पुण्डरीकं विरजं विशुद्धम्
विचिन्त्य मध्ये विशदं विशोकम्
विचिन्त्य मध्ये विशदं विशोकम्
अचिन्त्यमव्यक्तमनन्तरूपम्
अचिन्त्यमव्यक्तमनन्तरूपम्
शिवं प्रशान्तममृतं ब्रह्मयोनिम्
शिवं प्रशान्तममृतं ब्रह्मयोनिम्
तथादिमध्यान्तविहीनमेकम्
तथादिमध्यान्तविहीनमेकम्
विभुं चिदानन्दमरूपमद्भुतम्
विभुं चिदानन्दमरूपमद्भुतम्
उमासहायं परमेश्वरं प्रभुम्
उमासहायं परमेश्वरं प्रभुम्
त्रिलोचनं नीलकण्ठं प्रशान्तम्
त्रिलोचनं नीलकण्ठं प्रशान्तम्
ज्ञात्वा मुनिर्गच्छति भूतयोनिम्
ध्यात्वा मुनिर्गच्छति भूतयोनिम्
समस्तसाक्षिं तमसः परस्तात्
समस्तसाक्षिं तमसः परस्तात्
ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्